Welcome to How the Game Was Won. We're at the World Chess Championship New York City 2016 between Magnus Carlsen and the challenger Sergey Karjakin. This specific game number 8 of that match played on the 21st of November 2016. And Magnus has previously had the white pieces in games 1, 3 and 5. And games 3 and 5 he tried without success to be able to make a breakthrough against Karjakin's e4, e5 structures, so it was natural that he would choose to go for d4 as his opening move for white. The game continued with knight f6, knight f3, d5, e3, e6, bishop d3, c5, b3, bishop e7, castle short, bishop b2, b6, d takes on c5. And then we've got bishop takes on c5, knight b to d2, bishop b7, queen e2, knight b to bd7, c4, d takes on c4, knight takes on c4, queen e7, a3, a5, knight d4, rook f to d8, rook f to d1, rook a to c8, rook a to c1, knight f8, queen e1, and obviously the idea here is to be bringing the bishop to f1. Is almost a sort of like an admission by Carlsen that things have not gone quite according to plan as far as what he had laid out, and already at this stage of the game both players were starting to use up large swaths of time on their clocks that would come back to haunt the both of them. Knight g6, bishop f1, knight g4, knight b5, bishop c6, a4, bishop d5, and just doubling back to bishop d5, if I take things back slightly, where he played bishop c6, now surely he could have brought that bishop to d5 straight away and saved himself a tempo. But Karjakin chose to play the bishop to d5 via two different moves, literally gifting Carlsen an extra tempo. The game continued with bishop d4, bishop c4, rook takes on c4, bishop takes on d4, rook d takes on d4, rook takes on c4, b takes on c4, knight f6, queen d2, rook b8, g3, knight e5, bishop g2, h6, f4, knight e to d7, knight a7, queen a3, knight c6, rook f8, h3, knight c5, king h2, knight takes on a4, rook d8. Now bearing in mind that over here both players were in extreme time difficulty. They had 8 moves to make it to the time control, and they were both at under 10 minutes remaining on their clocks. So in this case, for instance, e4 makes a lot more sense, but again we're talking about immense time pressure involved with knight c5, e5, knight h5, queen f2 as being the option. But rook d8 played, allowing g6, queen d4, king g7, and coming up objectively the losing move of the game, which was playing c5, which allowed rook d8, knight takes on d8, knight takes on c5, queen d6, and then again in this position, as I mentioned, both players with their flags hanging. Karjakin was already starting to prepare himself for drawing the game, so he'd missed out in this position of playing the absolutely superb queen a4, which would have allowed queen takes in b6, knight cd7, and the main point of the passed a pawn will be able to run through super easily, supported by the black queen. So that would have secured Sergey the win so much more quickly than what he ended up needing to do. But Sergey, looking for the draw, played queen d3 instead, allowing knight takes on e6 check, f takes on e6, queen e7 check, king g8, queen takes on f6, a4, and this move is an absolute monster. With each move that a pawn gets closer to the queen in square, it just becomes more and more powerful. e4, queen d7, queen takes on g6 check, queen g7, queen e8 check, queen f8, queen c6, queen d8, f5, and over here with f5 being played, white absolutely has to create some degree of counterplay to be able to force the win that Magnus is desperate to try and get here against Sergey in the game. a3, f takes on e6, king g7, e7, queen takes on e7, queen b6, knight e3, and here Magnus plays what's effectively the decisive mistake of the game by playing queen a5. What is objectively a better option in this situation would have been playing e5 instead, which should be able to give white a relatively easy draw with knight takes on e5, bishop d5, and now the bishop's at least in a position to be able to cover the a2 square for the black pawn, and also not allow the black queen to get into a position like, say, for instance, f7, to be able to cover that decisive a2 square. So getting back to the game in hand, Magnus played queen a5, allowing queen c5, queen a6, knight e5, and now the position looks absolutely horrendous for white to be able to defend. Queen e5, h5, h4, and a2, which is an absolute huge move for Sergey. And in this position, Magnus resigned the game, because after a2 was played, the obvious next lines of moves would be queen takes on e2, knight g4 check, king h3, queen g1, queen b2, and king g6. And in that position, white runs out of the number of checks that he can possibly play, and in this position white will either be checkmated or lose his queen after bishop f3 and knight f2 check. So that is how the game was won. Personally, comments, questions, or commentary that you may have in the comment section down below. Like and share this video. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and last but by no means least, stay carved up for the win. I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Go vegan.